So my wife tells me the other day, the next time we have sex, we're having 2 hours worth of foreplay. That's what she said. Welcome to the High Level Husband Podcast. I'm Tommy McAllister and running it by myself today. And this one was just laying on my heart. And that what I just told you at the beginning of this podcast was true. Some of you guys know, and I'm not going to talk about this forever because I'm not trying to brag or anything. Me and my wife are doing a 40-day sex fast right now. Today's day 33. And there's been a lot of beneficial things from it. And the reason why I said what I just said was because something that she said, that's been one of the benefits is that haven't been having sex, but we've been making out like we were teenagers, right? And she was like, but man, that is building the tension. She said, when we can actually have sex, I want us to build the tension for 2 hours and then do it rather than yo, this fast is over with. Let's just get at it. She's like, I want to build it for 2 hours. But here's the thing, guys. I'm doing this whole podcast right here on different things why I see marriages in such bad places, rough places, mediocre places, and lukewarm places. But why I see life, so many men in those spots too, and wives in those exact spots. It's because so many people cut corners in life. And I've been there, guys. I've been there. But I see so many people cutting corners in life. Whether that's in their fitness, whether that's in sex, whether it's in their marriage, whether it's in business, whether that's in any area of life, it's just cutting corners these days because we're trying to take the easier route. And when you do that, you don't get the goods. You do not get the good that you want in life. It'd be like, man, if you're building, you have this recipe to make this amazing meal and you're like, you know what? I'm going to leave out this step. I'm going to leave out this step and this an ingredient. Guess what? It's not going to be that good. It's still probably edible, but it's not going to be as good. Right? Be like if you build a car and you're like, I'm gonna leave out the AC. I'm gonna leave out the stereo system. Guess what? You still can drive everywhere. It's gonna get you there just in the same amount of time. It'll just be far less enjoyable. Same exact thing will happen in our marriage, in our lives, when we cut corners. But I don't think people realize that. I think that they don't see it as cutting corners. I think that that's just thinking of man, I don't really feel like doing this. And that's where society's gotten in this day. It's like, if I don't feel like doing it, I'm just not going to do it. Show me in the Bible that that's number one, a biblical thing where it says, if you don't feel like doing it, just don't do it. Do whatever just makes you happy. And that's where the society's at today. And that's why we're in such a crappy spot. But man, everything we want in life takes effort. Right? And so I'm going to break this down in multiple different areas in here in a second and kind of give a game plan. But I want to just talk about this. We do this in life, right? How many of us are cutting corners in life? But when we learned to walk, we just didn't be like, man, I don't know. Just give me one of those electric wheelchairs I see people rolling around in. That seems much better because I don't have to fall down and a bunch of times to learn to walk. No. When you're trying to get a degree in college, if you go to college, right? You're not I don't know, I'm just going to cheat off everybody's tests and not show up and all those things. No, you got to do the work to get the grades, right? Whatever you're doing, you got to do to get it. You want to lose weight, you got to do the work, right? But when it comes to marriage, nobody wants to do the work. They just think it should be easy. They just think from day one, you get married, you guys should just be having sex 3 times a day. You should just be laughing and joking. And she's just telling you to go do whatever you want. You get to go play golf and get drunk all you want. But that's not how it is. I'll tell you, marriage is easy. It is. After you get really good at it. Just got off a call right now with somebody who owns a very, very, very big business. And he says, man, I'm kind of struggling because I have 70 employees and technically I could get away with working 3 hours a day if I want, and I could do it from the beach. And he's like, and whatnot about that. Well, that's the thing he's earned to get to that point. That's where we're at, guys. We have to earn to get to that point. He wasn't bragging, but he was saying, I earned to get it to this spot. Guess what, guys? I've earned a 10 out of 10 marriage where we don't have to argue or anything like that, and where marriage is easy. You have to earn it. If you want to be a doctor, earn it. You want to be a millionaire, earn it. You want to do anything, you have to earn it. You want to be jacked, you have to earn it. I'm in the best shape of my life right now. I was thinking about this, about a post the other day. It was like, I'm 43 years old. I'm in really, really good shape. And please, don't take that as me bragging. But then I was thinking to myself, dude, that was 20 years worth of work, of grinding to get to this spot. I just didn't one day be like, I'm jacked. No. So what makes you think in marriage, when we start cutting corners, we're going to be as fit? We're going to be as good. Just yesterday, and this is just where me and my wife are at. I saw some pictures of my wife 3 years ago. And I said, babe, like I saw these pictures today, and she was probably like 3 pounds lighter and just probably a little more muscular tone. And I said, yeah, babe. I go, man, I forgot how great a shape you got in there just for a little bit. Not that she let herself go. 3 pounds is like what I'm saying, and just a hair bit toner. We still go to the gym and do all this stuff. And she's like, I know. And I said, I feel like because we've just been growing this business so much the last few years and really had to be very intentional, our workouts went from being an hour and a half, 5 days a week, to some days only being 45 minutes, right? Still getting them in, but there's a little bit difference. And so that changed up a little bit, right? I'm not saying I'm winning perfectly in every area, but probably cut a hair or two in the diet a little bit, right? And then when you're not matching that with the hour and a half workout, that's going to equal out. Same thing. And she said the same thing. She's like, yeah, remember this shirt? Like you couldn't put it on. And it, you know, you, before it fit like perfect and now it doesn't fit. Like I'm just a hair, I'm probably 1% body fat different than what I was then. And I know you think 1%, come on, maybe it's 2, but it's like not that. I've just cut corners a little bit for other things. But let's stop cutting those corners in our marriage. Let's stop doing that in our life. Let's do these other things. So what I'm doing is this. Let's dive into this stuff. On the sex side of things, I'm going to come right out the gate with the sex type of thing. So many people these days, and I see it's just like, man, it's just when you're first having sex with somebody, fortunately, we should be waiting until we get married. You know, I didn't, and I wish I had. So I'm going to just reference this as like the secular side of things. It's like, man, like when you were first like having sex with maybe it's your wife or whoever, it wasn't like, hey, you want to go upstairs and like get it on? Hey, let's go do it. No, like you put in the effort, you kissed for a minute, you maybe, you know, put on some music, you set the mood, or there was some foreplay throughout dinner and things like that you're like doing things. But now it's just like, you want to go do it? There's no excitement in it, anything like that. And that's what it's got to. And then when you try to turn it back on, it just don't work, right? But you're cutting corners in those areas. That's where I've seen so many dudes get to. It's like, hey, you want to go have sex? I get so many women who message me and they're like, man, like I want to cuddle with my husband. I want to do this, this, and this. And he's just not interested. But then at the end of the day, he's like, hey, let's go have sex. It's like you're cutting corners. You're missing the steps in the process to making your wife really want to have sex with you. Or maybe you actually do it the right way, but then you're just like, all right, let's get straight to the sex, and we missed the foreplay. Now, that's a conversation for you and your wife to have. Everybody's very different on what they like and what they don't like. But from what I know from my history, a lot of women love foreplay. I like it a little bit, right? Now, during the sex fast, I've learned how much more I actually like it and where there are areas where we were missing the mark on it. I saw a side of my wife come out that I've never seen before, and she said she's seen a side of me come out that she's never seen before. And here's the thing. What if we had like this? Not every session needs to be 2 hours long. It doesn't need to be the most wooing of type of things before. And it doesn't need to be always just like this foreplay. But what most people get comfortable is like 1 out of 10 times that they do like this actually amazing time. Then there's probably 3 times that it's like maybe a little bit more. And the other time it's just like, hey, let's just get to it and have some sex. It's like that's at the end of the day, it's kind of like for some people. For a lot of the wives, you're cutting the corners in what actually makes it passionate, intense, and special. All I know is at the end of the sex fast for me and my wife, it's going to be mind-blowing sex that's going to change the course of our life. And it sounds weird to say, but literally it's just been so much building on it. And I already know what's going to happen. But then this intimacy moments after that are going to be so much better because we've learned so much and we forgot how much like it meant to this big part of our life and all these other things. It's changing. But what you don't understand is like, stop cutting corners. Foreplay starts at the beginning of the day. Are you flirting? Are you slowly touching each other? Are you being playful and fun? Are you doing all these things that's building the foreplay throughout the day? Or is it just the normal, like you're just at work doing your thing and you're not talking, you're talking with the kids, and at the end of the day, it's like, you want to have sex? It's like, get out of here with that stuff. You're cutting corners. So no wonder the sex has died off, because it's no longer intense and passionate. It's those intense, passionate moments that keep it going, right? Let's take a look at our faith. It's the same thing. Are we cutting corners? Are you reading the word every day? Well, I don't know. Are you going to church? Well, sometimes, and it's like, are you in a men's group? No, but like, do you tithe? Well, I really can't tithe. It's like, man, we could just go through. You're cutting freaking corners. Well, I go to church, but sometimes, like, I don't know, like I work hard all week and I'm just so tired that we just choose to stay home and watch online. Cutting corners. Cutting corners. Every single area of your life. Faith cutting corners. Fitness cutting corners. Sex cutting corners. Every area of your life cutting corners. What if we just, in all areas of our life, we're just like killing, didn't cut any corner on that thing? Do you think it'd go better? Like, if you show up for a job interview, right? You're going to be like, maybe I'll be a few minutes late. No. Show up for a job interview. You're going to have your hair cut. You got to make sure you're nice and shaved, your fingernails clipped. You have a nice outfit on. What if you were like, I'm not going to do my hair today for this one. Just cut the corner on that. It's not going to go well for you. It doesn't. I'm tired of people cutting corners. I literally just sent one of my clients. So we use this app called Voxer for our clients that are in our elite one-on-one program. And so they get kind of 24/7 support. This specific client still has masturbation a little bit in his life. His wife says she doesn't like it and it's ruining aspects of their life. And it's not that he watches porn. He says, I think about you and these other things. And so I challenged him to cut it out for all many reasons. And his message back was like, well, I've tried that before and it didn't go well for our relationship. So you're willing to cut corners. How long did you try it for? 2 weeks? 3? 4? Give it 6 months. Give it a year. This dude's a big business person, acquires multiple businesses and businesses all over the places. And I said, let's talk this. And he also business consultants. And I said, hey, let's check this out, man. I said, so let's say you consult to come on. Let's say I own a business and you come in and I ask you to consult for my business. And you say, hey, you need to fire your manager and you need to fire your sales manager and you need to fire a couple of these other employees. They're not bought in on your team and they're actually cancers in your thing. And I said, I don't know, man. Like, if I fire them, like, I'm gonna have to find new people, and then who's gonna do those jobs? And they already know me and understand the systems. And it's just like, well, then you're gonna get the same results, he would say. So if you don't remove masturbation from your life, you're gonna get the same results, is what I told him. And I said, if I have to fire my employees, guess what? It's gonna get better before it gets worse. But if I stick with the process, those new employees that are fitting the culture better and I train them up, eventually this will lead out better. Most people cut corners because they quit early and do all these other things. Man, it's we got to just go. When your wife knows that you are a man of your word and you do what you say and you don't cut corners, good things go well. Everything goes well. It breaks my heart. And it's got to a spot now where, like, I'll put out a sex post. And we did one yesterday, and it was like, how our life after being together for 25 years, this is how our sex life is still so vibrant. And we gave like these tips, and people were like, well, you got to have a woman who's willing to have sex with you first. And my wife's not doing this and she's not this. And it's like, man, guaranteed 100% of the time, I've been doing this long enough that I've just seen it in every single marriage. Cutting corner. And then they're like, dude, she just don't want to have sex with me. Yeah, bro, not with you cutting corners in all those areas. And I know it sounds mean of me, but I'm frustrated because they're missing the mark. I'm frustrated with people saying, God's not blessing me. God's not doing this in my life. Well, let's take a peek. What are you doing? Are you cutting corners in your... Well, it's like, yes. You get in what you put out. You want the world's best meal and you want to make it from scratch? Don't leave out any of the steps. It's a recipe for a reason. Want the world's best sex? Don't leave out any of the steps. The foreplay throughout the day, the foreplay during it, the actual sex, all of the intimacy afterwards, the follow-up and everything. Don't leave out any of the steps. Everything we do in life, don't leave out. It's like, man, I get so many times people that are like, dude, I work out twice a day and I'm not losing any weight. It's like, well, do you track your macros and your calories? Man, that's too hard, dude. That's too time consuming. Well, are you happy with your results? Well, no, man. Like, I'm freaking tired of looking like this. So what you're saying is you're willing to cut corners on the thing that matters the most, but yet you're not happy with your results. Do you think if you tracked your calories and knew exactly how much was in your body would benefit you? Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like, well, let me do this. You know how you lose weight? Calories in versus calories out. So if you're guessing on your calories and maybe you're at maintenance or maybe you're putting more in and you didn't realize that, that's why you're not losing weight. So do you think if you figured that out, you would get it? Well, yeah. Okay. Stop cutting corners because you don't enjoy doing those things. It's like everything we want in life is on the other side of pain. But this is where our society sucks today. Nobody wants pain. People act like pain is a bad thing. Pain is not a bad thing. Pain is the best thing in your life. 100% the best thing in your life. You know why? Because pain is an alarm that's going off that's telling you you need to change something up. If your arm's broken, it has pain telling you go get this fixed. If you get cut, it says put a Band-Aid on this or get stitches. Get it fixed. If you're depressed, it's an alarm going on saying you need to fix this. If you're anxiety, it's an alarm going off saying you need to fix this. If you're not having sex and you're arguing into marriage and you're just stuck where it's at, it's an alarm going off saying you need to fix this. You know how you fix things? By doing something. Time heals nothing. Time paired with action heals. This is what people say when they've lost a loved one or something, the heart's been broken. Oh, in time. No. Time don't do a darn thing unless you do something to make that better. Stop running from pain. You know what people do in this society these days? When pain happens, I guess I need antidepressants because I'm just depressed. Or if something pain happens, I guess I need a beer. Well, it just takes the edge off. Guess what? I need to stuff my face full of food, or I need to do all this other crap, or I need to go watch porn. Any of these things to take the edge off from pain instead of just asking yourself, why do I have this pain? I know I've touched on that before. It's like, man, well, then that has us cutting corners in fixing that pain. I promise you, if you want a 10 out of 10 marriage, and it's worth it, it's going to be a lot of work. You're going to have to not cut any corners. Become the best lover, the best foreplay person, the best all of that. You're going to have to stop cutting corners in your health, in your fitness, in your gym routines. You're going to start having to stop cutting corners and just watching 4 or 5 Netflix shows at night and then getting less sleep. You're going to have to start listening to books instead of watching Yellowstone. You have to start doing things differently and stop cutting corners. There's a book by Ed Mylett. It's called The Power of One More. Solid book. I love Ed. And he's just always talking about like doing the one more thing. Like, what's this one more thing that we can do? Shout out to Pastor Keith Craft. He also said this one time. He was like, man, like, there's 3 types of people. And I think what he said was there is the people that don't do what they're asked, the people who do what they're asked, and the people that go above and beyond what they're asked. So we'll use tithing as an example, is that some people don't tithe. Biblical, so you darn well should be. 2, the people who do it is like the bare minimum. 10%. All right, I ain't giving 11, but I'll give you 10. And there's the people that go above and beyond. Which one do you think is going to have a better life? The one who gives 8%? The one who gives 10%? Or the one who gives 12%? 12%. Now let's take that same thing and apply it to all areas of life. The person who shows up better in their marriage, shows up better in their fitness, and doesn't do what they're asked, does what they're asked, the bare minimum, and then the person who goes above and beyond. The person who goes above and beyond is always going to get it. I was just talking with somebody earlier today, and he was saying, man, I have an 8-figure business and this, that, and the other. And he said, I think sometimes, we get these new employees and they don't realize like the hard work that it took me to get to this spot, the sacrifice, the stress, and all of that. And I said, I vibe with that, bro, because oftentimes on social media, people tell me I have a unicorn of a wife, or that we don't understand. They don't know what it took to get to this spot. They don't know that Diane wasn't always this amazing woman. They don't understand what it took to get here. So guys, I want to challenge you. From this moment forward, do this for, man, I want to say 30 days, but I'm going to challenge you for 7 days. From this moment, see yourself as the person who does more than you're asked, and just do not cut a corner. Well, I didn't get all my steps in today. I was only got 9,000. It's close enough. No, get 10. And then be like, I'm going to get 11 because I do more than asked. It's like, I put my dishes in the dishwasher. I clean most of them. I'll do the rest in the morning. No, do them all and sweep up. Like, be that person who goes above and beyond in all areas. And just ask yourself, in everything that you do, am I cutting a corner? And am I doing more than being asked? You do that perfect for a week, you'll start seeing little fruit. Your wife's not going to change overnight. I'm telling you that right now. Do that for 2 weeks. Then make it 3. Then 3 months, 6 months, a year. You do that for a year straight, and you don't cut any corner. You do like all the things that you're supposed to do in faith, fitness, relationship, business, all of that. More than you asked, and not cutting any corner, not one day. Your mindset will be better than ever. Your faith will be better than ever. Your relationship will be better than ever. And your health will be better than ever. But if you don't think you can do that, then go ahead and have that lukewarm marriage, and don't complain about not getting sex. Don't complain about walking by the mirror and thinking that you don't look good. Don't use an excuse that you don't have time, because every single person has time. They just order and priorities out of place. And just say, hey, this is who I am. I'm just an average person. Oh, man, you got to have self-love. Nah, man. Not if you're not doing anything to earn that self-love. Can't just mail it in. Let me ask you this. Do you love your kids if they're like 15 and 16 and they're out like doing drugs and pills and stealing and robbing and not doing anything, or just being lazy? Let's say they're not doing that. They don't do their homework, eating that crap all day and just playing video games, doing nothing. Do you love them like through the moon? No, you love them, but a little let down. What if they were just above and beyond, finding out what's possible in life? Set that standard for them when they see, dang, Dad don't cut no corners. Dad goes all in. That's what I'm challenging you to do. It's called High Level Husband. And it's available to every single person. If I have to hear another person point their finger at their wife and tell me about their wife and that she just don't want to sleep with you, but yet you've just cut every single corner in all areas of your life, dude, you get what you deserve. And that's what you put in. And it's hard. There's a lot of days I do not feel like doing things. But I do them. Gotta do them. Today was one of those days. To be honest with you, I woke up for some reason. I felt super tired, kind of brain fogged. And I was like, man. And I have a super busy weekend. Men flying in from across the country, climbing a 12-mile peak tomorrow up this mountain. And I was just exhausted. I didn't feel like doing it today. And then I had one of my favorite coaching calls I've ever had. Got on there and slayed it. I had no other choice. And I'm still going to do everything on my list today, because there is no other choice. So I know what the other side feels like. So guys, can you commit to that? I know you can, because I know you're a winner, because God's created you to be something special. You'll stand out. Just yesterday on our men's Bible study, this I guess the wild Bible studies gets wild for our clients. We do a Bible study. A guy on there said, man, I'm 48. My wife's 48. And so when you've spoken on hormones in the past, on how love and attraction is so much bigger than menopause and hormones and things like that, he said, it's starting to really, I'm seeing it with my own eyes. He said, my wife initiated sex for the first time in years this week. He says, and I've witnessing that it's so powerful with what we're learning and teaching and here and implementing. This is a guy who doesn't cut corners. He doesn't. And he's finding out. Same thing's available to you. Join our community. You can work one-on-one with me. It's definitely more of an investment, but join our community. Dude, it's affordable for everybody. And I want it for everybody. You want some amazing men in your life who are going to encourage you from around the world. You want the program that's going to walk you through to how to freaking have the most amazing marriage in life. Be so fulfilled. And it's more than just marriage. It's personally. It'll grow your business. It'll do all of that because of this. Join the community now and do not wait. Don't say, well, let me see what a week brings. No. Stop cutting corners in that. Just invest. So, love you guys. If you do me a favor and rate the show, 5 stars, please. We're really pushing in, and we're just going to keep bringing value. We got amazing guests coming up. Literally recorded an episode earlier this week with our biggest guest yet, by far. And it's only going to get bigger and bigger. So I'm excited, and we're going to bring the best stuff to you guys and ask the most real questions and give you the best advice and details to change your life. Actionable steps for actual results. So, guys, I challenge you. Stop cutting corners and do the work. Much love.